Hey everyone, color spring vibes with me while I tell you about a fascinating true crime case. This case is about Kim Sunja. Kim was a housewife who lived in Singdang-dong, a dong in Seoul's Jung district, along with her three sons. The family relied entirely on her husband's salary as a painter, but that didn't stop Kim from borrowing money from various people due to her frequent visits to cabarets and a gambling addiction. In the end, she decided to kill creditors and steal their money. On October 31st, 1986, Kim asked 49-year-old Kim Gye-won, a friend of hers who also lived in Singdang-dong, to go to the bathroom together. Not long after Gye-won fell down the stairs after drinking a cyanide-laced beverage, she was transferred to a nearby hospital, but died suffering from severe cramps and breathing difficulties. Her necklace and ring had been stolen, but police found no evidence connecting Kim Sunja to the crime. On April 4, 1987, Kim asked 50-year-old Jeon Sunja, a creditor who lived in Singdang-dong, if they could ride the bus together so she could get some money in Yeongdeungpo. She borrowed 7 billion won, and the two women then boarded a bus. While riding on the bus, Jeon started complaining that her drink had been poisoned with something and fell from her seat. She was taken to a nearby hospital, but soon after died. On February 10, 1988, she suggested to 46-year-old Kim Sunja, another creditor based in Sindang-dong, that they go to a coffee shop together so Sunja could receive money from a debtor. Kim had borrowed 1.2 million won from Sunja some time before and agreed to go with her. They both waited for the debtor to come out, but after he didn't show, they decided to leave. Sunja then drank a poisoned yulmu cha, which caused her to vomit on the way home in the taxi. Kim said that she would get better if she had more of the healthy drink, but suggested that they get out of the taxi first. Sunja, already suspicious of her behavior, ignored her suggestion. Kim later repaid her and even visited her house to ask if she was all right. On March 27, 1988, Kim took the inner-city bus together with her father, 73-year-old Kim Jong-chun, who was returning home from visiting some relatives. She gave him a poisoned beverage, and he soon fainted on the bus due to the cyanide. Jong-chun was taken to a nearby hospital, but doctors were unable to save him. On April 29, 1988, Kim handed a poisoned drink to her 46-year-old younger sister while they were waiting at the Hwaeyoung-dong bus stop near the Children's Grand Park. Like the previous victims, Kim had borrowed 10 million won from her sister. The younger Kim fell down on the city bus due to the poisoning. She was taken to a nearby hospital by a fellow passenger, but succumbed to the cyanide shortly after. Kim, who had stolen her handbag and jewelry, managed to run away while her sister was carried off from the bus. On August 8, 1988, Kim met her 46-year-old cousin, Son Si-won, who lived in Changsindong, at a coffee shop in Sungin-dong. Kim proceeded to borrow 484 million won, ostensibly for a deposit required to buy a house, and then gave her cousin a poisoned drink. Son Si-won suddenly collapsed while riding the bus towards Seobingo-dong, was taken to the hospital, and subsequently died. Kim Seonja was arrested on September 2nd by the Yongsan District Police on charges of poisoning relatives and creditors. The police had carried out autopsies on 4 people who died under suspicious circumstances, finding citric acid in 3 of the bodies. Kim vehemently denied the accusations, but nevertheless, police searched her home in order to find evidence, while Kim's body was searched by a policewoman. Authorities found jewelry and cash stolen from the deceased. In addition, the day after she had murdered Son Si-won, Kim deposited a check in an account at the Sadang-dong branch of the CHB Bank. Judging from these circumstances, she was identified as the culprit. Kim was living in an old Japanese house at the time of the crime. A police officer, while searching through her home, found a small hole in a newspaper while looking at the toilet in the restroom. The policeman unpacked the newspaper and found a clump of cyanide, which Kim had used for the crimes. According to the investigators, she had bought it from a nephew who was working at a chemical company under the pretense of catching pheasants. Kim strongly denied the accusations during the trial, but was sentenced to death by the Supreme Court in 1989. On December 30, 1997, she was executed at the Jiujian prison. On the day of her execution, 22 other violent criminals were also executed in prisons around the country. The last executions conducted in South Korea. Kim's case marked a pivotal moment in the South Korean capital punishment debate. Her execution, along with the executions of the 22 other inmates, became the final implementation of capital punishment before South Korea enacted its execution moratorium. This was because the death penalty was meaningless in that it hadn't proved to be effective in preventing crime. Kim Sunja's case fundamentally altered South Korean forensic science and criminal justice procedures. Modern investigators still study this landmark case when examining family-related homicides. The psychological, cultural, and legal implications continue to shape criminal investigation protocols decades after her 1997 execution. Thank you so much for coloring with me. I hope you enjoy hearing this true crime case, and I hope it was as intriguing to you as it was to me.